So today we've got Honker. We've got Nathan with us today. Welcome, Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
Thank you.
Glad
Thank
to
you
have
guys
you
for
on
having me.
board today. So you're, like I said earlier, you're with Honker. Um, and for our listeners out there, I know I wasn't familiar with Honker when it was first introduced.
Nor was I.
What is Honker? Name alone, it sort of threw me back. But you know what? You got to have something catchy every now and then, something that's a little bit different. Puts that big question mark above people's heads. So, with that being said, Nathan, give us a little bit of background. Where did Honker come from? Where did the name come from? What inspired you to build this infrastructure out?
Sure. So, Jeff, I can already tell with that smirk every time you say the name, you're loving the word. So first of all, thank you guys very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Honker is an app for consumers to lease a car in a couple of swipes, really.
Okay.
So
that's pretty impressive because I've never been able to lease a car with a couple swipes.
Right. What you were able to do is you were able to go through a ton of websites to do research on cars and then go through a bunch of dealerships and get pricing on cars and so on and so forth.
Oh.
It normally takes quite a bit of time to get to where you ultimately want to be. What we've done is we've simplified that long, arduous process into an app where you can literally do that transaction. And the key is the transaction in a couple of swipes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it the whole transaction?
It's pretty much the whole transaction from a consumer's perspective. If they don't want to, they never need to walk into the dealership. Frankly, they never need to speak to the dealer unless they want to, or unless the dealer wants to speak to them. And from the dealer's perspective, we'll show you some screenshots in a couple minutes. It's pretty amazing because the dealer can knock out a Honker lease transaction in less than 10 minutes. What they get from us is a completed lease transaction versus leads, quote unquote, that they're getting from most of the other internet providers. When a customer comes to the Honker app, our assumption is that they're in the market ready to do a transaction. So they've already done a lot of research on the internet, OEM websites, dealer websites, third-party websites, but we are the only place where the consumer gets that feeling of here's where I go to complete the transaction.
Yeah.
So this screen, what you're looking at now is just some of the nuanced screens, like when you click on stuff, what happens. So the first screen on the app on the left side, you have 3 ways of coming into the app. Enter, make, and model is for a customer who knows what they're looking for. Search by vehicle type. Maybe I don't know what type of minivan I want, but I know I need one because I got a bunch of kids, and so on and so forth. So that's what you get when you click on the search by vehicle type. On the next screen, again, you see the list of cars on the left side. There's a little feature right on top where you can narrow down your search by specs. So say you want a moonroof, you want only leather seats and navigation, you can narrow it down. That's what you see on the right side. On the left side is an option to play around with the different mileage and terms to see different pricing. And again, it'll recalculate in real time.
So where does the deal of the day, which I assume is the red ribbon, where are those coming from?
So the algorithm actually will search for the vehicles that are priced the best in the app, specific to you as a customer. So maybe if you're looking at a compact car and we know that there's a certain rebate on the Civic, or maybe the dealer's marked it down because he's got too much inventory, so we'll mark it with a little red and sort of indicate to you that that specific car is a great deal for that day.
Gotcha. So speaking of the data terms and all that good information, where is that coming from? Is this something that the dealership needs to enter in each month, or is this something that you're grabbing from the OEM or another third party?
A lot of it from the OEMs, a lot of it from third-party data providers. There's a ton of companies that do a great job at that. So we basically license a bunch of the back-end information in order for us to do what we do, and then we sort of layer it in all of our proprietary technology to get it to what you see in front of you.
Gotcha. Okay.
So a lot of magic.
A ton of magic going on here. And to your question about what the dealership needs to do, in general, to go live with Honcker, it's like incredibly easy, with no commitment from one day to the next. So a dealer signs a very basic dealer agreement, and they send us an inventory feed, and they're essentially live, the next day. We do have a dashboard, which we'll get to in a second, where the dealer controls everything that happens in the app. And it's another critical point to make about the difference between Honcker and a lot of the other platforms that are out there. We want dealers to look at this as an extension of their rooftop. Get to customers that are on the internet, get to some customers that they maybe otherwise wouldn't have had access to, and so on and so forth. So everything that you see inside the app is controlled by the dealership. The dealership decides where their pricing should be. The dealership decides where they want their vehicles to be shown. The dealer can control which vehicles, how many vehicles, and everything they do in the dashboard is reflected in the app in real time. So it's a very cool mechanism to play around with. Maybe it's end of month and you got to make a number, go onto the app and do what you want to do. Maybe it's middle of the month, and so on and so forth.
Ooh, could you even control your acquisition fees and things like that?
Absolutely. You can control everything. You can control your money factors. You can control your act fees. You can control your doc fees. You can have different things set up for different states. Maybe you're in Paramus, New Jersey, and you're on the border of New York. Your doc fee in New Jersey is $999. Your doc fee in New York is $75, and so on and so forth. You can set it all up really cool, and all of it is automatically and correctly reflected. So when the customer sees that price, the customer will pay what they actually see, that monthly payment. You can even play around with your credit tiers if you want to. There are dealers that have very good relationships with lenders where they can get lower credit scores approved at higher tiers, and they want to do it and so on. There are other dealers that maybe don't have those sorts of relationships and like, hey, guys got to be a pure tier 1 to get approved as a tier 1. Guys got to be a pure tier 5, and so on and so forth. So we give you some amazing tools to play around with to really try to optimize and get maximum business out of this.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Giving all that flexibility to the dealer.
For sure. Jeff, if we go to the next screen, you'll see, again, just some screenshots of the individual screens of the app as you start to tap on things in the app. That's the deals of the day. We can move to the next screen. More information about the car. And on the right side, you'll see what we ask the customer once they click the lease button to sort of start to validate this and turn it into an actual transaction. Do I want my car picked up or delivered? Am I keeping my current license plates? I authorize the dealer to do a credit application, which is a digitally logged authorization. So the dealer can go ahead and do a credit app. And then if you go to the screen after that.
Well, hold on. Can we stay here for a quick second? Yeah. So down here, obviously on the left-hand side, we've got where the consumer can go through and change their term and their miles and maybe add in some product like gap insurance or something along those lines, right?
Sure.
And so you've actually using the words roll here. I love that because when you talk about pencil tools, you're typically rolling things around. Is there a way to roll in what's due up front?
Yes. So if you'll notice the little slider under the $160 per monthly payment, if you slide that to the middle, it'll take the taxes out of the due at signing and it'll move it up into your monthly payment. If you slide it to the right, it'll be a zero down lease. So we roll everything up into the monthly payment. So we give you what we believe are the 3 easiest types of monthly payments. Everything, all the ancillary fees that are, and including taxes, bank fee, doc fee, tire fee, all that stuff in your due at signing. That's when you want your due at signing to be a little higher and you want your monthly payment to be a little lower. Or as I mentioned, you can swipe right 1 time, swipe right 2 times, and you start to roll that stuff up into the monthly payment.
Oh, I'm starting to get it.
Thank you. One other thing that's really cool to highlight is, you see that little circle there where it says roll in current lease balance?
Yeah.
So that's something that's relatively new. We found a ton of customers stuck in leases that they want to get out of. So what we're offering them here is, let's say you're 6 months, you got 6 months left on a Honda Odyssey and you just love the new Chrysler Pacifica, but you owe, I don't know, $1,400 on your existing lease. When you click on that little roll in your current lease balance, it'll give you 2 options. Number one, it'll say we automatically found a early turn-in coupon for the vehicle that you're in now. So you can trade that vehicle in and just move straight into the one that you chose at no extra charge. Or if you'd like to get out of the lease that you're in right now and we couldn't find you a coupon, tell us how much you have left and we'll roll it right into your monthly payment. And then when the dealer gets this order, they'll see, you know, there's $1,400 left on his current Honda Odyssey. Make sure you pay that off. It's included in his new monthly or in his new due at signing. What we're adding shortly is the ability to get out of a trade. So say you own a 1998 Corolla and, you know, you want to get 1,500, you know, with 100,000 miles in good condition, you want to get your $1,500 for it. In real time, you'll tell us, and we're doing this with 2 partners that we're testing with at the moment. So we're probably about 6 weeks away or maybe 8 weeks away from going live with it. You'll tell us, hey, I got this $1,500 Corolla. It's in good shape. In real time, we'll give you a price for it, and we'll pick up the car the next day, and we'll apply that value to your new lease. So again, things that normally take forever at a dealership, to minimize them down to one tap or one click on an app, it's very, very compelling.
I should probably save this statement till the end, but you know, as you're talking through all of this, and I'm seeing the flexibility in what you can do, I'm sitting back thinking, okay, you're doing leases and it's all on mobile. This has got to be the most modern thing out there currently.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So if we move on to the next screen, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
This is what we call the My Lease screen. This is where the customer uploads their information. Click on those little plus buttons. You know, it'll open up your camera in your phone. You take a picture of your driver's license, your insurance card, and so on and so forth. And again, everything happens inside of the app as the order is progressing by the dealer. Customers getting little notifications. Hey, your order is now in credit, or your order has just been approved. Can you please upload your insurance cards? So we can set up your vehicle for delivery, and so on and so forth. So amazing experience from the customer side, amazing experience from the dealer side. We like to say internally, it's the fastest, easiest transaction a dealer will ever do, in that it takes 10 minutes of attention of a salesman sitting by a computer clicking a few buttons versus having to sell to a potential customer in the store, you know, which takes hours. If we go to the next screen after that.
Yes, it's the dealer side.
We'll get to the dealer's perspective.
All right.
Slow down, Alex. Slow down.
I'll get excited.
Okay. So what you see in front of you is dashboard.honcker.com, which is the dealer's access to his dashboard. And we're just going to show you a few highlights of a few screens. Basically, it's the dumbest dashboard you've ever seen in your entire life.
I wouldn't go there.
Yeah, you better take that out. Well, what I mean is, and I hope you get it, it's incredibly simple to use. It's literally, again, a few clicks for a dealership. And
we're leaving it in. I'm just saying it's not the dumbest thing I've seen. We're close.
Okay, so what we see here, if you look at the top, is you'll see an inventory tab, a dealership tab, a leases tab, and an extras tab. The inventory tab is essentially where a dealer sets their pricing. So we show you the vehicles, and again, all of these things are clickable. We're not going to go through each one of them, but essentially we show your inventory that we got from your inventory feed, which updates every few hours. You choose the vehicles that you want to price. Go back one screen. Sorry about that. There you go. And what you have is the ability to price your cars. If you look at the far right, actually, before you look at the far right, we will organize your inventory for you in an incredible way. We'll show it to you by age. We'll show it to you by how that model is moving on the app or in general in the area around you. We're starting to give dealers a ton of information that they otherwise wouldn't have had that will indicate where they should be pricing their cars. Because right now, dealers have tunnel vision. They know what their month looks like. They know where their P&L is and where their car should be priced. But once you start to give dealers more information that might be relevant to them they otherwise might not have had, they may get a perspective, you know, on how to do things that are that's a little more interesting and a little more relevant. So we'll give you all that information. You click on little buttons and that information pops up. Ultimately, you choose your pricing, and we price at invoice. So the first price you'll see is 0. That's the default. You make it 1,000 above, 1,000 below, and so on and so forth, or anything in between. And based on where the dealer sets their price here is where the ultimate monthly payment will show up for the consumer.
Right, and then you guys are automatically applying the applicable rebates and incentives.
Exactly. It's automatically applying the applicable rebates, incentives, and so on and so forth. Obviously, we don't touch a dealer's holdback or, you know, any behind the scenes sort of money, but anything that's consumer facing, we will automatically apply. And we tell dealers and we remind them to keep that in mind whenever they're pricing their vehicles. And one other thing I'll just highlight, because we're having a conversation about dealerships and pricing. It's really interesting to see the dynamic of the different parts of the country and how vehicles are priced, and you know how manufacturers change their terms and so on and so forth. And we sort of we have a perspective that's really interesting in watching some of this stuff. And it's a whole nother conversation, but it's really cool to just to just be a part of. Jeff, if we move to the next screen, you'll see where dealers can set up their add-ons, their lease extras, and any of their finance and insurance products. We encourage dealers to set this stuff up, add as much information about it as possible. We show it to the consumers multiple times in the app. We know how important finance and insurance is to the bottom line today. So this is where you have the opportunity to do that, price it however you want, and so on and so forth. If you go to the next screen, you'll see probably the most important screen, which is the lease screen. So this is what a dealership sees when a consumer clicks lease. So on the left side, and again, we're not going through all the individual screens, but again, it's incredibly simple. They get a notification.
Also, I wouldn't call this one dumb either.
It's pretty smart.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really, really simple. So when a customer clicks lease on the app, the person at the store who's handling the Honcker lease transactions will get a notification by text message, hey, you have a new Honcker lease, and it comes with a little link. They open it, and it'll show them this dashboard. On the top, we show them the order number, the day and time that it was received, the vehicle, dealership stock number, dealership's VIN, the rebates that we applied, the monthly payment that the customer saw on the app, the due it signing, the profit or loss that the dealership set, mileage term, and so on and so forth. If you click on any of those things, it'll open up information about the car and the worksheet of how we got to the pricing. So everything is laid out right in front of the dealer, all the relevant information right there front and center. On the left side, they'll see the 3 steps that they need to do. You'll see 2 of them have already been done. They confirm the inventory. They click a little button. They say vehicles in stock. Customer gets a notification, hey, that vehicle is locked up for you. The next thing is they processed all the customer's information. That means credit and stuff like that. As soon as that's done, they'll click a little button. It turns blue. Customer gets a notification in the app. Credit is now approved. And then on the right side, they'll all the information as the customer is uploading it in the app, the dealership will start to see it. So you'll notice the driver's license, the insurance card. When the dealership clicks on it, it opens up a full screen. They can print it out, put it into the deal folder, and so on and so forth. What you get from Honcker is a lease, a deal, not a lead. All of the customer's relevant information, a vehicle priced at the price that the dealer set it at, customer's credit information, customer's personal information, driver's license, and everything happens through the app. And that's basically Honcker in a nutshell.
Nice. So everything is in a mobile app, but the dealer's side is a desktop version?
Correct. Or the dealer's side is on a mobile website as well, so they can use it from their mobile phone as well.
Okay.
It's extremely easy to go live. Someone will come out and show what I've just shown to you live in a browser, live on the app. There's no commitments. A dealer can come on and say, hey, you know what, next month I don't want to do this, and so on and so forth. And as I mentioned on the fees, we're very, very flexible about that as well.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Alex, any more questions?
No, let's get more dealers on Honcker.
Let's
do it. All right, Nathan, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Thanks for having the gumption to go out there and build a new product, shake the industry up a little bit, especially on the lease side. We hear a lot about the online transaction, attribution, all that good stuff. But this is the first product that I've seen that really focuses in on leasing. And what dealership out there doesn't want more leasing in their portfolio?